You're listening to the Fringianity Underground podcast. Fringe topics with a Christian point of view. Now here's your host, Leo Rutledge. Today's episode is on the Mark of the Beast and the different technologies that are being used to move the agenda of the Mark of the Beast forward. This is kind of a dark episode, so if you're not really able to handle pretty harsh topics that tie into the Bible very well, then you might want to turn it off. But with that, let's begin the show.
The microchip is looking more and more like the mark of the beast that will be accepted, because nobody will be able to buy or sell goods without having this chip implanted into them. It'll be that, because we're already going towards a cashless society. The signs are out there. They constantly talk about how they want to get rid of cash. They're going to destroy the stock market. We know all these things are going to happen. We've already seen the microchip implanted inside of these new credit cards. They are a microchip program. This is conditioning to prepare you for your microchip, which you will have to have if you want to survive in this world, be able to go to the grocery store, be able to make money, or, just be able to do anything, buy or sell goods, as Revelations tells us, as the book of Revelation talks about. And I wanted to talk about the mark in the forehead, because it doesn't get discussed that much. I think a lot of people think, well, the mark in the forehead would be the same as the mark, in the right hand. And I wanted to point out this new technology that it's been going on it's not completely brand new, but they've been talking about over the last year or so. And that's that scientists have this machine, this magnet that they use. It's almost like getting a lobotomy that they put right over your forehead, right between your eyes. Okay, and it's able to change people's perspectives on how they view the world. And through these studies, they've learned that they are able to take Christians, do this technology on them, perform this technology on them, and get them to no longer believe in God. So through doing this, they're actually able to alter the way people view things. And they could make decisions for you. They could change your viewpoint. This is going to be, part of this mark of the beast that comes. This is going to be part of it. People are going to shy away from God, turn away from God. When they get this put in them, they're going to be able to control your thoughts. They're going to be able to control, everything, all parts of your body. That's what the microchipping is going to be. And the one in the forehead, which is just as equally as dangerous, where some people think they're both one and the same, that they're both going to be the actual microchip. Who's to say? Because we don't necessarily know. We'll see when it all comes out, when it's all released, because it's pretty close. It's pretty near. And a lot of people, like I said, believe that the microchip in the hand, in the right hand, will be, preventing you from buying or selling goods unless you accept this. So Christians will be forced into getting it, or they won't be able to live. They'll be homeless. They'll be thrown out. They'll be evicted. They won't be able to eat. They won't be able to, provide for their family, to put groceries on the, in the fridge, or food on the table. But by doing this specific, electromagnetic coil that they use, where they put this on your forehead, and what they do is they use electric currents and electromagnetic currents that stimulate nerve cells in the region of the brain involved in mood control. So they can control your moods, your thoughts. And through the testing that they've done, they've been able to reduce, even though it's insane, it's ridiculous, the fact that they would eat. Obviously, we know what it's for, but the fact that they're openly admitting that they're trying this testing to get people to not believe in God, with all the other things that they could try to do with this, that's the top thing. They want to make sure that if they do this, that they can convince people that God isn't real through using these electromagnetic, currents that they're wiping, pretty much giving your brain a lobotomy. But through this testing and the studies that they've done, they've come up with the statistic that 1 out of 3 people, 1/3 of the people they've done this testing on, they come out of this not believing that God is real anymore. They become atheists, which is exactly what they want. It's exactly what it's, this whole entire thing, this superhuman race, all this stuff with the microchipping, and the crossing of man and machine and all this stuff that they have planned. they're going to be completely controlling people's minds and thoughts. We already know that we're under mind control, and they do that through television persuasion and manipulation and propaganda and fear tactics that they use to keep, everybody in the middle here who's completely asleep. That's how they keep them asleep, with the chemicals and the food and in the air, and then, with the basic mind control tactics that they already use. Now, this technology would make it so that if even people like us who are awake would be completely under mind control, because they would actually be using magnetic forces against our brain, which would completely control our brain, our moods, our emotions, and how we feel about certain things. So this is what is to come. This, along with the microchipping, could easily be done at the same exact time, because people might not be willing to get the microchip, and they might have to force people into going under this, electromagnetic testing, or forced electromagnetic lobotomy that they're going to give people to get them to denounce Jesus Christ, because that is all part of their master plan. They want Christians to denounce Christ, to accept Satan as God. Okay, because this is still a spiritual war. This isn't just about killing us off. Okay, it's more important to them to get us to denounce Jesus Christ, to accept the mark of the beast, to become, to get our souls to Satan. Well, most of us say, well, we'll sit here and we'll be martyrs for Christ. I agree, and I completely feel the same way. But if they force people into getting this, this type of technology done to them, if they tie you down and they put you through it, it could be a real game changer in a lot of ways. I mean, this is something to be fearful of, because, like I said, I'll sit there and you can cut my head off if they want. I'll be a martyr for Jesus Christ. I will never denounce him as the Messiah, as the King of Kings. But, if they do this to us, I still believe, our prayers and our faith will be able to overcome anything that they do as far as, testing to the brain and stuff like that. But this is really kind of a scary thing to think about. Because you're taking free will out of the picture, because you don't really have free will. You're pretty much just a dead human being, a zombie walking around, which we have now, like I said. The majority of people out there are zombies walking around. They're completely asleep. But this type of technology is something that, we all need to be aware of and concerned about. And it's amazing to me that other people out there aren't upset, that other people out there who might not even be Christian aren't upset that they even perform tests like this, that we allow them to do this disgusting testing. And then they say, well, that's because we're trying to evolve. The human race is getting smarter. We're trying to figure everything out. And then you get all these people who are, so studious, but completely are brought up on false doctrine and lies, but think that they're smart because they're so prideful. Say, well, things like this should be done so we can figure out, if we can control certain parts of the brain, then we could help people, with brain problems or mental illnesses. Meanwhile, these people are under demonic possession. A lot of these people that have issues mentally, are under some type of demonic possession, or it's induced from, the chemical warfare that we're under, and all the things and the sedatives that they give us to give people anxiety, through the chemtrails and the chemicals in the food. But this thing right here is completely sick. It's really sickening. It makes my stomach grumble. It kind of, in a way, it makes me a little fearful as well, knowing that, they could just tie you to a chair and possibly do something like this. I'd like to think most of us would be able to fight through it because of the Holy Spirit, which I truly believe, trumps all. I don't think that they'd be able to get me to ever denounce Jesus Christ. But the fact that they can actually do something like this, and they can actually, that they're actually trying it out, and people aren't in an uproar about it. And then, if you read the comment section, below this, you have people talking about how we should be doing this now to get, Christians to be better members of society. Like the people are supporting it, saying that, can we get all Christians, in a room? Can we do this to them? Because Christians are such a detriment to the growth of society. That's how people think. That's how sick people are. And that's how much people despise Christianity. Yet, like I've been saying, this is how they keep Christians lukewarm in their faith and not hot in their faith. Because on television, they'll portray it as Christians make up the most denomination in America. Christians have most rights. Everybody's Christian, because a lot of these Satanists pretend to be Christians and Catholics and go to church when they're truly Satanists. Okay, and they keep people lukewarm in their faith because they don't let people know that everybody's really against us. If lukewarm Christians knew what was going on, if they knew that they were trying to destroy Christianity, they would get hot in their faith. They get fired up to fight back for Christ. But they're laying around, comfortable in this environment because they think everything's fine and everything's safe because the media portrays it that way. If you just read some of the comments in this section, lack of religion is linked to greater intelligence and better education. Fact. Right? People saying stuff like this. How soon can we expect the government to require this to be done to citizens? People are just in support of it because that's how much people despise Christians. They really, truly despise us. And that's why it's so important for us to stick together and band together and not go after one another. Whether it's people on YouTube attacking one another, saying, oh, he's a false teacher, oh, it's a this or that. I mean, we need each other. Whether it's a Christian at your local church or in your community who judges you because you might, have a fancy car, and they might say, well, that's not what Jesus would want. People just picking fights with other Christians, wasting time as they get stronger and we get weaker. We have to band together against this type of technology. We have to band together to help wake up the lukewarm Christians, to get them hot in their faith so that they don't get spit out on Judgment Day. We have to wake up, our sleeping brothers and sisters to show them what's going on, that prophecy is completely being fulfilled. For people out there who, don't understand the Scriptures, read the Scriptures. Everything that you see going on around you, you could read in the Scriptures is occurring right now. Prophecies are completely being fulfilled. We are in the end times, and we have to band together. So share this video, share this knowledge of what's going on, this knowledge about, what they're planning on doing, how they're going to be performing these, these magnetic tests on people's brains, they're probably going to call them. And what they'll really be doing is giving you a lobotomy. You won't leave the room even realizing that they've wiped away your religious, belief, because you're under mind control. Pretty much because they're doing testing on your brain, and you wouldn't even realize the testing was done, because you're going to walk out of there. You're still going to be able to walk. You're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to eat. And you're not going to realize you're just going to suddenly not have faith anymore. You're suddenly going to realize that, or, be tricked into thinking because of this testing, and because of this, operation that they're doing on people, that Jesus isn't real, that he's not the Messiah. This is a complete game changer, because this takes mind control to a whole new level. And it is really scary. So people need to be aware of this technology. Now, can we do anything to stop it? I don't know. They do whatever they want pretty much. Like I've been saying over and over, the laws don't apply to them. They apply to us. They're allowed to do whatever they want to people. And they're going to be performing this soon. And like I said, I've been reading these comments here. They want people to get this, because they're going to want people to all agree on this one world religion. Other people who aren't religious are going to say, this is what we need, because we need more intelligence out there. They won't care about our rights or respect our, our belief system at all, even though they want us to believe in everybody else's belief system. All these other fake religions like Buddha, Buddhists and all this stuff that's just completely a joke. They want us to believe in that, be okay with that, to be okay with transgenders walking around, human dragons walking around, going to the bathroom in whatever bathroom they want, just having all the freedom and the rights that they want. And they're going to shove us into a room and try to give us lobotomies like this to get us to denounce Jesus Christ, so that they can steal souls and bring them back over to Satan. So these are things we all need to be aware of. So stop, sitting back, get hot in your faith. Share this with other people so that they know this is the kind of technology they have. These are the weapons that they can use against us. And like I said, there's no weapon stronger than the Holy Spirit. But stuff like this is just completely, I don't even want to say unfair. It's sickening.
Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea,